So in this video, I'm going to take you through a full body warm-up, which includes a full body mobility routine. So make sure you stay tuned. So lots of people skip a warm-up, or they just hit the treadmill for 2 minutes and they don't do a full body warm-up or activate the muscles appropriately. So they end up with a subpar workout in terms of, firstly, you increase your likelihood to get injured. Secondly, you might not feel the working muscle because some muscles get stuck, you know, when we're sleeping, when we're just doing everyday things like sitting at a desk, like doing things that aren't exercise. So I'm gonna take you through a full body protocol, even a pre-workout protocol called RAMP. So stands for raise, activate, mobilize, and potentiation. I'll go into all four different aspects of that throughout this video. I'm not going to give you every single exercise because there's hundreds of exercises you can do at every point, but this is kind of like my go-to for a series of exercises, and this is one routine you can implement. If you want to use different mobility exercises, feel completely free. If you want to use, I don't know, different activation exercises, again, feel free. But this is what I use and what I have used and what I tell some of my clients to do as well. So remember, holding a stretch, like a static stretch, is not something I would recommend. That can lead to injuries, it can lead to micro tears in a muscle. That's something you do like after workout or you do later in the day, unless like you're doing some specific training where you're stretching the antagonist muscles or the opposite muscles. So if you're working a biceps, you want to stretch the triceps, or if you're working a chest, you want to stretch the back. But that's a video for another day. Let's get straight into this. So first up, raising that heart rate, raising that pulse rate, doing anything that's going to do that. I wouldn't say anything actually because I don't want you to try something silly, but the first thing I would recommend being at home is just a light jog on the spot, and then towards the end, I'd say around 2 minutes jogging on the spot, and towards the end building up into a sprint, so it lasts like 20 seconds, you can go a tiny bit faster and last like 10 seconds, you build into a sprint that will raise the heart rate enough. If you're in the gym, lucky enough, or if you've got a treadmill or anything like that, treadmill for like 2 to 3 minutes, or like a bike, or anything like that, anything that's gonna raise your heart rate, start to build that even a tiny bit of a sweat. Either way, you're getting yourself ready for the next stage, and that's activate. So now we're gonna activate. Activate's basically bringing those muscles to life, preparing them, waking them up, and telling them, we're gonna train, and you need to work while we're training. A lot of people struggle to feel muscles, mainly on glutes, and every time I say the word activation, people think instantly booty band. Let's do some glutes. Great exercise, but we're gonna change it up. We're gonna do quite a few different ones. You can take these exercises and use them specifically to the muscles you're working, or just implement them in a full routine and activate all your muscles, because effectively, even when you're working the back, you're working your biceps, forearms, you're obviously working the back, you're working your core, there's lots of muscles involved. So you might wanna do all of these in one big routine before workout. Either way, the first one, I don't actually know the proper word for this, but it's like kind of like plank walks. So what you want to do is, you want to be in a plank position, feet together, everything nice and tight. All you want to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, you're activating the core, and you're also activating the shoulder muscle. For the chest, a simple isometric can work just fine, but this specific chest activation exercise I find works particularly well. You get better contraction in the chest. So you're starting with your hands low. All you're gonna do is you're gonna pull up, and then you're gonna slowly make the back of the hands touch, squeeze, and come down. Nice and controlled. So next one, we got a wall press back. You can't see my feet, but they're away from the wall. You don't want them right against the wall. They're a bit away from the wall, knees slightly bent, nice and soft, hands against the wall, head against the wall. And you're pushing off, and you push off, you push against the wall and contract those lats. Next up, we're going to continue to activate those abdominals, the core muscles, and also bringing the glutes and hamstrings and shoulders a tiny bit as well. So hands underneath the shoulders, you want the knees underneath the hips, you want the knees about hip width apart, you don't want them close together, and you don't want to hyperextend that lower back like this. You want to bring it in, bring the belly button in, squeeze those abdominals, make a fist with the hand. So left hand to right knee, opposites, touching, knee hovering, come up, but not too high, otherwise you'll externally rotate the hips, and what will happen is you'll take emphasis off the core, and that's not what we want. Just because no activation session is complete without some glute bridges. So glute bridges, but slight twist, turn the toes, make them point slightly outwards. By doing this, you're taking the quads and you're also taking the hamstrings out of the equation a tiny bit, focusing more on the glutes. You want to bring the heels a bit closer to the butt, again, which is going to help you activate those glutes even further. Hands down, you're going to thrust up through the glutes, making sure you don't hyperextend your lower back. You don't want to thrust through the lower back and end up injuring yourself. So the M, Mobilize. This is going to help your muscles move through the natural range of motion. You'll get more out of the workout for sure. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and what you want to do is you want one hand, still keep that hand on the floor, one hand on the floor, other hand by the side of your ears. You bring the elbow to touch the elbow, and you're going to twist up, follow the elbow with your eyes, try and get that elbow towards the ceiling while not moving the other arm. Thoracic rotations, mobilizing the upper back, the chest area, shoulder area, the scapula. These are great. The next one, sideline thoracic rotations. So I like to really emphasize on opening up the upper thoracic spine because most people have a lot of tightness there, tightness in the upper traps, all that whole area. So this one is great. You want both hands down. You want the shoulders to be stacked to begin with. Make sure the knees down on the floor. Hands stacked as well. And you're gonna open up, but you're gonna open up while keep that knee and shoulder pinned. And you're gonna hold. Take a few deep breaths in. And out, obviously. And return. This should be a staple in any mobilization routine. This is something I do every morning and throughout the day. If you're sitting for long periods of time, you want to be in kind of like a sit-up position, feet a bit wider and shoulder width apart. And what you can do is you're going to drop the knees to the side into a 90-90 position. That's 90-degree angle with the knees on both sides. But you want to maintain that straight upright position, looking straight forward, chest up, body nice and tight, dropping down from side to side. Hamstrings, pretty much everyone I know or anyone I've ever trained has tight hamstrings. So my favorite exercise to mobilize hamstrings, hamstring sweeps. You can either do this moving forward, which is more like an active mobility, or you can just do it standing. The main thing is keep that chest up, abs tensed, the back leg bends. As the back leg bends, you reach down and scoop. Keep that chest up. You'll feel that stretch all the way down the hamstring. And trust me, this is pretty tough. It's tough to keep that back straight, but you need to remember, keep that back, those abs tense, sorry, and that back straight. So next and last is the P, potentiation. So you're going to potentiate the muscle, so you're going to get the muscle ready, primed for what you're about to do. So it can be very specific, like if you're about to sprint, do some sprint drills, or if you're about to, say, you know, do like some MMA, for instance, or some boxing. It could be some ball slams, or it could be some squat jumps. It could be anything, but specifically to strength training, I would say do squat jumps, which I'm not going to demonstrate now, or explosive push-ups, which I am going to demonstrate. I actually end up doing both because they cover all the major muscles, they prime all the major muscles, and they're easy to do from home as well. Do 5 to 6 squat jumps, and again, 5 to 6 explosive push-ups. Here we go. And after you've done that, you're ready for your workout. I would actually suggest doing 2 rounds of those, and also for the activation exercises, I didn't really go into much detail about rep ranges. Rep ranges for activation exercises, between 10 and 15, I would say. If you're doing the holds, isometric holds at the end, at the top motion, hold for 5 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds. And again, the same with the mobilization, probably do about 10 to 15 reps. Again, and you're not really holding, apart from the side lying thoracic twist, that I think you should hold at the top and take deep breaths in to try and get deeper into that range, deeper and deeper into that range, and also open up the muscles even more. But those are the prescribed rep ranges and how many times you do them. I'll drop it all below so you can see it for yourself. And make sure you do use this routine next time you exercise, right before you exercise. This is going to put you in the best possible way to have the best workout. It'll take you like 10 minutes or so. And if you're doing it for individual muscles, so say if you only take a few, I suggest doing 2 rounds of each. But if you are doing a full body routine, just 1 round of this whole thing is enough to get you ready to do what you need to do and do it most effectively. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to share it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and be sure, if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, click that subscribe button, hit that bell notification to be alerted as soon as I post a video. Any questions, comment below. If you'd like a personalized program, let me know in the comments below, or you can message me on Instagram or reach out to me on my website at www.adamscottfit.com. And until the next video, keep pushing those limits.